More than 100 years after Dr. Peter Bryce blew the whistle on rampant deaths in residential schools, Cindy Blackstock is following his legacy.
I feel that's where we are now. The government's non-compliance to this Human Rights Tribunal decision has been linked to the deaths of 3 children. Many family separations unnecessarily have happened. We need to hold them accountable.
She started the 14-year fight to get discrimination in the on-reserve child welfare system recognized. It might have ended today.
This was a complete win for kids. And now the question becomes, will the federal government finally put down its sword?
The federal court's decision would leave Ottawa on the hook for billions of dollars. It leaves in place a Canadian Human Rights Tribunal finding of discrimination in the on-reserve child welfare system after 2006. The government would pay $40,000 to each child in it to First Nations children forced to leave their homes to access health services and some caregivers.
The amount of money is a Band-Aid solution, but the compensation would change lives.
Jay Simpson spent 16 years in foster homes, struggling to access basic services.
There was always a fight with who would pay for dental.
The decision released on the eve of the first National Day for Truth and Reconciliation.
This country in its past was responsible for terrible injustices.
Ottawa argued the tribunal overreached.
I know people are eager for prompt resolution to this in a comprehensive fashion, and that's what we at all times are seeking to achieve.
Indigenous leaders say that means nothing if the legal battle continues.
As Indigenous people, we have to go to the Human Rights Tribunal to verify that we're actually human beings with human rights.
Olivia, so what are you hearing about whether Ottawa will now appeal the federal court's decision?
Well, Adrienne, Indigenous Services Minister Mark Miller says the government still has to review the decision, so it's too early to say whether the government will seek an appeal. No matter what happens, the government says it's open to going to the negotiating table. This is something Cindy Blackstock says she's always been open to as well. And the judge who heard this case had a message for both parties in his ruling, urging them to move forward in the spirit of reconciliation, Adrienne.
Indeed. The CBC's Olivia Stefanovich in Ottawa tonight. Thank you, Olivia.